Greetings, salutations, good day, konnichiwa, como estas? I don't speak many languages, but we're keeping the streak alive, folks. So, third day of streaming, Streamathon, Stream Day 3. Welcome to PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. I'm your host, Javon Harrington, once again bringing you tantalizing conversation that really stimulates the mind, conversation that feeds the soul. Who the hell am I kidding? I'm just going to be talking about anime, video games, food, and possibly other stuff for the next hour or so. So, welcoming you all in on a bright, sunny, about 65-degree Wednesday on February. Hope you're all doing well wherever you may be, however you might be listening. So, as you can see from the title of today's podcast, we're talking about Season 2. A whole lot of Season 2. Season 2, Electric-Boo-ga-loo. What can a Season 2 do for you? Because, we're kind of at that point now where there are a lot of series still waiting on a Season 2. It's been a while. First of all, how are you all doing today? For people who might be coming in, people that might tune in later, you can drop your thoughts down in the comment section below. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me how life has been treating you on this fine day. Some probably better than others. Some people probably stuck at work, probably haven't gone to work. People all over the world. But yeah, I want to hear some of your all's troubles, trials, tribulations, all that good stuff. As we're now settling in. Ian Turner, good to see you. Says we got 2 people in the chat so far. Just going to be waiting a few minutes. Normally, more people will pile in like normal before we get any real conversation going. Also, like always, I do apologize if there is a few muting sessions in the live chat. I do live stream while I'm at work, so if I do go silent for periods of time because I'm taking care of some business, that's all. We'll be back shortly. Well, alright then. Day's going good. Saddam. Hope you're doing good also. Yeah, today we're just going to be talking about anime. We're going to be talking about Season 2, or lack thereof. Because don't know if anybody's heard, but there's a lot of stuff coming out pretty soon, and it's all well and good, but there is one thing, one key detail, if you don't mind. The gap between anime seasons is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, I wouldn't say alarmingly bigger, but it definitely is getting bigger. And I just thought it would be something that we could touch up on, mainly because I'm a fan of certain series that, honestly, they go so long without making another season. Sometimes I forget the series is even a thing. I would say one series that comes to mind would probably be Call of the Night that I have on the thumbnail. Season 2 was confirmed, but we don't know the exact date. If I recall, season 1 came out in like 2021, I think. Came out in 2021, and we're now going into 2025. That's going on like a 3-4 year skid between seasons. Like, that is something else. The fact that we're really going that long without getting the second season. Yeah, High School of the Dead, unfortunately, is never getting a season 2. Like, it's never going to happen. And I mean, sadly enough, I would even be down for like an anime original ending. If you could just, well, for one, I don't think if we did get High School of the Dead back, I don't know. I don't think it was that. I don't. I mean, I don't think it would be that much censorship. It might be toned down a little bit. They probably focus more on the action than like the fan service. The author is dead, so they probably focus a lot more on the action than the fan service. If they did bring it back for a season 2, the animation would probably be god tier, depending. But I don't think we will ever get a second season of High School of the Dead. And even if we did, I mean, what are we gonna get? We probably get like a season 2, probably get like 12, 13 episodes, unless they're feeling generous and they give us like 20, and then they give us an anime original ending. Which, that is one thing I would like to ask. When we're dealing with situations where the mangaka dies, but the fan base is strong, would the fans be okay with an anime original ending? Because, you know, you got a few author. Well, we've lost a lot of mangaka over the last few years. We've unfortunately we lost the author. We lost Akira Toriyama. We lost the author of Berserk, but I think that was a while ago. We lost the author of Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, and you know, just in general, I mean, with a show like Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh is the kind of series that you don't really need to have the mangaka to keep making Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, technically speaking, you can keep making Yu-Gi-Oh forever, because in the end of the day, it's just a card game. It's like all you need is a protagonist, and all you need is basically a protagonist along with some new monster cards, and you can basically just keep Yu-Gi-Oh going forever. Yeah, I've seen Berserk is continuing, but you know, it's almost a failed endeavor every time you try, because every time they try to make a new Berserk, the fans just never seem to like it. Which for me, you know, I've kind of gotten to the point now where I haven't started Berserk, but if I do, I think I'd probably just read it before anything else, personally speaking. But it does bring up some interesting points. What exactly would you do with certain series that get cut off early? Um, because you know you got the big ones like One Piece, and I mean, you know, I'm not wishing death on anyone, but I am saying, you know, Oda's been doing this for a while, and you know, you gotta know that like the One Piece, especially with a series like One Piece, you have to know that anything involving One Piece, like the notes or like the guides or whatever, that has to be like a national like security kind of thing. Like One Piece is, I think One Piece has gotten so big that the Japanese government probably has to keep like any manuscript of One Piece like under wraps. Like, I'm pretty sure that whoever I think Shonen Jump or whoever it is that like publishes One Piece. If there are notes or guidelines that Oda makes, they're probably kept in the most secure spot on the planet. And you just gotta wonder, like that probably is the real One Piece, like Oda's notes. But God, if something ever did happen to Oda, like I'm not saying that, knock on wood, I'm not even wishing anything upon Ichiro Oda, but I do have to ask the legit question: what do you do with One Piece if something happens to Oda? Like, I imagine there is a stat. Like, I imagine that especially after what happened with Akira Toriyama, you have to imagine that mangakas will have backup illustrators in place, backup storytellers. They have notes upon notes. Like, this is the formula you need to follow if anything happens to me. And God, I do not envy the guy or gal or anyone who has to take that responsibility. Because I feel like there's always going to be a hint of doubt. Like, yeah, you could follow the notes. You can do exactly as the note. Like, if the person in charge of One Piece is given the notes of One Piece, and they do everything that you're supposed to do, you know that the fans are never gonna like fully accept it. Like, even if they read the notes themselves and they're like, "This is what Oda put down. I'm just doing what Oda wanted." Someone's probably gonna be thinking, "Yeah, but Oda probably would have changed it, or he would have done something differently." And that's kind of like just the part that goes with it, because manga isn't like comic books. Like, we've had, like, take Spider-Man for example. Spider-Man has had who knows how many writers. And it's like, even if a writer for Spider-Man dies, it's really not the end of the world. Like, even, I mean, outside of say, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, because they were the people that created them. Like, but outside of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and even then, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, they did their Spider-Man runs in like the 60s and the 70s and pretty much started passing it on to other people. So, it's a big deal when they pass. But after that, like, how many more, like, comic book writers can you think of that have, like, a big enough influence that their death would be felt? I mean, first people that come to mind, I'm thinking Jeff Johns, who did Green Lantern, Brightest Day, Blackest Night. I think about Frank Miller, who did the Daredevil series in, like, the 80s and 90s, did the Batman Dark Knight Returns. Um, who else? Some comic book writers are more looked on fondly than others, so it really all depends. But that is something definitely to think about. Kind of bring it all back full circle. We're thinking about, season two, what season two would look like, what season two is even going to be. When it comes to an anime, there's definitely a lot to consider. Do I like Undead Unlock? It's alright. It's not my thing personally. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I do, but it's alright. I wouldn't say it's the end all be all. It's not something that I really crave. I mean, it's alright. Like, Undead Unlock, it's alright. I mean, the action scenes are cool, but I'd say that the dynamics between the two main characters are just not my thing. Like, it's a weird situation in general. Because I feel like, okay, here's my problem. The problem with Undead Unlock is that it's a series that comes up with like a premise, right? Like, with what you would think is an interesting premise, but it has to break its own premise at some point. Because you have a girl who has a cursed power. She wants to get rid of it. You have a guy who's immortal. He wants to die. And it's like they have to get close together to get what they want. But while they're trying to get what they want, they're just going to end up liking each other anyway. How should I put it? It's basically like, it's one of those situations where you have a series that starts off with a hook. You know, it starts off with like a main thing. And then over the course of the story, that main thing ends up getting changed entirely. Because I feel like by the end of the series, it's either he doesn't want to die because he wants to be with her. She doesn't want him to die, but she can't be with him because of her power. But he needs the power to be with her. But if he does that, he's going to outlive her. So, you know, you kind of see where I'm going at with this. I mean, yeah, that creates the conflict. But eventually the conflict, you know, it has to be resolved. And that's kind of like the big issue here. It's how do you resolve that conflict in a way that's, one, satisfying, that sticks to the, you know, the heart of the story, and doesn't divert things that much. Who is Andy? Oh, is that the guy from Undead Unlock? I only know about it. I've never actually seen it, so I can't give you a full analysis. But if Andy is the guy from Undead Unlock, then I guess he would win because nothing can kill him. I mean, there wouldn't be any way of actually killing him. I mean, from everything I've seen with how his powers work, he technically would be unkillable. So no one in JJK is actually going to be able to stop him. Or at least no one's going to be able to put him down for long. He's basically just Mr. Immortal from Marvel, but with like slightly better powers. If you're asking about how I feel about Invincible, personally speaking, I don't really like it. Or to be more specific, I don't really like Mark. I can't stand Mark at all. I mean, I care about anybody else but Mark. I care about Rex. I care about Debbie. I care about Oliver. I care about Eve. I care about everyone except Mark. But, yeah, it is what it is at that point. Let's see, what other topics do we got on the docket for today? Kenpachi or Battle Beast? I'd say it's Battle Beast. I'd say Battle Beast is a way, because Battle Beast actually has a curse that makes him battle hungry. So Kenpachi can at least like shut it down sometimes. I mean, yeah, he wants to fight, but you know, he's also a chill guy. I mean, whenever Ichigo's around, it's not like, oh, he has to fight Ichigo every time he sees him. Like, he'll chill with Ichigo and ask to go have a barbecue. So, like, yeah, definitely more so than Battle Beast. But I'd rather watch a series with Battle Beast than Mark. Like, I'm more invested in what Battle Beast could do. Like, if you wanted to give me a show that I would actually be more interested in, give me a trio of Battle Beast, Omni-Man, and Alan the Alien. I'd rather watch those three for a whole season. I feel like they would be like just a good trio to watch. Because you would have Battle Beast, who's just the dumb crash out. You have Omni-Man, that's like the serious guy that has a soft side. And you have Alan, who is cracking jokes the whole time. If that's the case, then I will definitely be invested in Battle Beast. I mean, I probably want to do something with Battle Beast. Like, I want to do a story with the Invincible series. Do I like the ending of My Hero Academia? I mean, it's good. Kind of feels like it stole from my idea, you know. I'm not saying that Hirokoshi stole my idea, but all I am saying is, who's the guy that came out with What If Deku Was Iron Man First? A series that's currently ongoing, you know? I made that. I'm just saying. I mean, Deku basically became a discount Iron Man. Then, of course, there also is a question about the Viltrumites. Like, I want to do an Invincible story. I really do. But when it comes to doing Invincible, I would say my biggest worry would be the Viltrumite characters. Because they are the weirdest type of people to account for in general. Like, more so than anybody else. Because when it comes to the Viltrumites, there is this one issue of, are they strong enough? Well, I mean, is that they're actually too strong. When it comes to Viltrumites, it's like, how exactly do I scale them? Because on one hand, they're strong as hell. Then on the other hand, you have to deal with the fact that every time you're on Earth, there are these monsters that can pretty much contend with the Viltrumites. So that's something that you really have to take into account every time you're doing a story like this. Because I'd probably put Viltrumites in the same tier as, like, I don't know, a Kryptonian, maybe. Thoughts on the meltdown from the My Hero fandom with Deku and Ochako? I don't understand why there was ever a meltdown. I mean, they were always the end-game couple. I mean, they were the couple from the very start, from the very beginning. So it's really hard to understand why people would have such an issue with Ochako and Deku, because they were pretty much always going to be like that couple. They were always going to be that couple together. So it is what it is. I mean, it's one of the few ships that actually makes sense. And look, I don't care if you want to make Deku, you know, gay or not. But let's be for real here. If we really were going to make Deku gay, why would he be with Bakugo? Like, let's just be honest here. If he were going to be with anyone, it would likely be Todoroki. Well, then again, Todoroki has Momo. But, you know, like, I'd say they even have better chemistry. But it is what it is. We love monstrous, battle-hungry characters. Yes, we do. At this point, when it comes to the anime and manga, I'm kind of just taking a step back when it comes to shipping. Because at this point, characters are going to be with whoever they want to be. Like the author, like at some point, and I would say the reason why I stopped worrying so much about shipping in general was when I was watching Bleach, and I got invested in Bleach. As you all know, I was the biggest Rukia Ichigo shipper, simply because I just like seeing the two of them together. But, you know, you get to the end of the series, then you read Thousand Year Blood War, and you find out that Ichigo got with Orihime, and you go through the 5 stages of grief. You gotta go through your anger, your bargaining, but you always come back to acceptance. and you have to accept it for what it is. And, I don't think it's worth getting tight about. Now, with that being said, there is one ship that I am pulling for with all my strength, and I will genuinely be disappointed if it doesn't happen, and that is Boruto and Sarada. That's right. I am the biggest Boruto Sarada shipper you will ever come across. And I'm not trying to hear anything from anybody. This is for all the Boruto fans. Anybody that's into Boruto, anyone that watches or, reads Boruto, I'm not hearing anything out with anybody. I'm not trying to hear it about Sumire. I'm not trying to hear, maybe Ada. I kind of like Ada. Um, but Sumire, no, I can't stand Sumire. I hate everything about Sumire. Sumire is just the worst. The absolute worst. I cannot stand that girl with a burning passion. And it's like, I hate the fact that I even have to entertain the idea that Sumire and Boruto could even be a thing. I hate the fact that that's even being put into the atmosphere. Because it's like, hey, I tolerate a lot. But I have been on the Boruto Sarada bandwagon since 2017, 2018. It just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. The one thing that I think I hate about shipping more than anything else, what really grinds my gears, is when we have a series, right? Like, you can take any series, for example, and you have these characters that we have known and loved. You have these characters that we followed on their journeys, their trials, their tribulations for like what, 200, 300 chapters, over 100 episodes, movies, light novels, video games, the whole 9 yards. And we follow them all together. And then you have the main character, usually a guy, ends up hooking up with a girl that we don't even know. Like Regular Show. Regular Show is the one that just irks me every time I think about it. It's that Mordecai, after Margaret, after CJ, he just ends up with this weird Batgirl that we've never even seen, never even heard of. We never even heard this girl speak. Keep this in mind. Mordecai's wife, we've never even heard Mordecai's wife talk. We don't know anything about them at all. And it's just, oh, they got together and they had a bunch of kids. Like, does Mordecai's wife even have a name? Oh God, don't even get me started on Adventure Time. Adventure Time is just, I hate how they did Finn. I will always say that I hate how they did Finn in Adventure Time. Just because it's like, he couldn't get a stable relationship to save his life. It's like, first it was like Margaret. Well, first off, looking back at it, Margaret was kind of a hoe. Yeah, he fumbled Flame Princess, but if I'm being honest, I never liked Flame Princess. Look, now we're just going back into the argument that we made with Rukia a couple days ago. Like I said, why do these authors make these characters look a certain way and then give us information that contradicts what they are? Like, let's take Princess Bubblegum, for example. If you were watching, at least for me at the time when I was growing up, if you were watching Adventure Time for the first time. If you're watching like the first like season of Adventure Time, you see Finn and you see Princess Bubblegum. You wouldn't think that, oh, she's like way older than him. I just thought she was tall. Like when I saw Princess Bubblegum and I saw Finn, I just thought, oh, they're the same age or around the same range. She's just taller than him. Okay. And that kind of started to why I kind of like tall girls. Because, because she was just tall and cute, but tall. But then they play the whole, oh, she's way older than him, even though she's not that much older than him. And it's like, she's older than him, but she's not. And it's always the 100-year-old thing. It's like, they always say, oh, I'm not 18, I'm 118. I'm like, bitch, you're 18 years old. And then I have to start asking myself, for the sake of the plot, why are you 100 years old? Like, if Marceline, and then there's Marceline. Like, what is Marceline? Is Marceline an 100-year-old teenager, or is she just 100 years old? Like, that's kind of like my thing with Marceline. Because on one hand, you were born as a vampire, which means technically you shouldn't age, but you conveniently age yourself to be a teenage girl / young adult. But somehow you're too old for Finn. But you... See, this is why I don't take aging in literature seriously. Because at the end of the day, you'll be as old or as young as the author wants you to be. Thoughts on Dick Grayson and Starfire? Everyone loves Nightwing and Starfire together. I don't think there's a person here that grew up in the 2000s that didn't. But you do have one small problem. For one, there's never a guarantee that Nightwing and Starfire are always going to be canon.
Yeah.
Hello.
All right. Let me get one copy of my today's bulletin. Going on up out there. All cold milk on my hope. You got my original copy in here?
Your registration should be.
I got the duplicate yesterday.
What was that? Over 1,000 years old, and she was born a vampire, and she wasn't born a vampire. Wait, hold up. She wasn't born a vampire? And how did she become a vampire queen? Well, the issue that you run into with that, with Nightwing and Starfire, is that even if you want to say they're canon, they can't be canon in every medium. I mean, take Batman, take the Batman Arkham series, right? In the Arkham world, we don't know if there's a Starfire in the Arkhamverse. So even if you make Starfire his canon wife, you still have that issue of not knowing if Starfire is going to be in the Arkham series. Like, we don't know where Starfire is going to be at all the time. I mean, sure, you can make them canon in some places, but not every place. It's not like how it is with like Superman and Lois, or like Batman and Catwoman. Like, they can always be together no matter what medium you put them in because they go together. But Starfire is not a part of the Bat family lore. She's a part of the Teen Titans lore. And then you have to go into the issue of making a Teen Titans team. And again, not every universe has a Teen Titans. You know, like take the Batman films with George Clooney that had Robin and Nightwing, or the Batman and Robin. There's a Batgirl, but there's no Starfire. There's a Starfire in the Teen Titans cartoon, but there's no Starfire in the Batman the Animated Series. Now, granted, there could be. I mean, there's hinted. I think there's supposed to be a Starfire in that universe, but we're not entirely sure. Ben 10 should have been with Julie. All right? Ben 10 should have been with Julie. And the fact that we lost Ben 10 with Julie is a crime. It is a crime. It's a crime of the highest order. And I don't know who set up Ben with Kaya, but whoever did, they there's a special place in hell for you. Like, why? We could have had Ben and Julie together. They could have had kids. One kid gets the Omnitrix. The other kid could get Chip and have like a upgrade body armor. I mean, I don't care for Kai at all. I don't care about her. I don't even know what she does. Like, what does she do? Is she even an alien hunter or whatever? Like, I don't know what she does. And the only reason why they got together is because his annoying ass kid from the future. Okay, people hate on Boruto. You need to point that hate towards Ken 10, because that idiot had to come all the way back from the future and in the most annoying way possible was like, hey, so you two are supposed to get together, make sure you get together. Hey, you see her? Yeah, you should marry her. Like, hey Ben, hey, why are you thinking about this other girl, that this cool alien girl? You should look at Kai. Look at Kai. Fuck Kai. I don't care about Kai. Why am I supposed to care about her? The last time we saw Kai, she called Ben a pet, a wolf. I don't care how old she was. I've never liked Kai at all. So who from anime would you shit with Ben? Moko would be a good choice. I mean, with the split personalities. From anime, who would I shit with Ben? Um, hmm. Probably Momo Yaoyorozu. Probably.
Hey, no,
Oh.
get my paperwork for tomorrow. I got Kinston.
Hmm. And I am back from another momentary break here in the Power Core Productions live stream. I do apologize for the delay and the gaps in silence. Do hope to try to keep that to a minimum. Let's see here. Thoughts on Bulma making Vegeta stop fighting, threatening to stop bathing with him? Once again, Vegeta proves to be the most developed character in all of Dragon Ball. More shine has been put into him compared to most others. I really do wish that a character like Goku could get that kind of development, but then again, people aren't really the biggest fans of Chi-Chi. I'm not the biggest fan of Chi-Chi, so I'd be lying if I said I cared about their relationship as much. Hmm. Rosario Vampire Ben 10. That actually could work. I mean, I don't want to steal ideas, but if enough people want to actually see that as a series, I could make it. I mean, now that I think about it, I mean, I probably have to read the manga again because I can't really follow the anime because the anime is not fully canon. But yeah, Rosario Vampire Ben 10? That sounds like a cool idea. What other character thing would the Bulma thing work on? Issei from High School DxD comes to mind. Denji from Chainsaw Man, if Makima told him to. Well, Makima could tell him anything. Uh, who else? Who else? Take your pick. Anyone from a rom com, probably, more or less. I just like the dynamic between Bulma and Vegeta, even though I kind of don't like their couple sometimes. I do like the dynamic that they have together. Like, they feel more like a couple than anybody else in that series. More than Goku and Chi Chi, more than Gohan and Videl. God, I do not care about Gohan and Videl as much as I used to. I remember I used to really like them together, but now I could not care less at all. Like, not at all. Not even close. What do I think about Dragon Ball Super? About the future saga? Had to stretch. The future of Dragon Ball Super is up in the air, primarily because you do have the issue of. Keep in mind, we've gone through Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Daima. We still gotta finish Dragon Ball Super, and we've done all of this, and we still haven't gotten to the end of Z. Like, this is, again, like I said, I think like a couple days ago, my biggest issue with Dragon Ball is that they are really milking this 10-year gap between the end of the Boo saga and the end of Z. Like, they are really milking this 10-year time skip for everything it's worth. Like, they're gonna fill up all 10 years at this point. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if after Dragon Ball Super, they do like another Dragon Ball series, and it's like, oh, this is still a few more years before the end of Z. And it's like, by the time we get to the end of Z, I'm just gonna say, well, damn. Like, is there anything else that didn't happen? Like, tell me what didn't happen in this 10-year time skip. Like, I have never seen a time skip get more abused than the Dragon Ball time skip. Like, the Dragon Ball time skip is just being abused, slapped, changed, rearranged, everything in between. And you know that that once they finish and once they get to the end of Z, you know the story is going to continue after Z. So it's like I kind of wish you would have just done Daima after Z. I mean, it would just be a GT reboot at that point, but what else is new? Favorite Thor design from me, it's Marvel's Rivals. Personally, I am my favorite. All right, there are two Thor designs that are my favorite. The first is the classic Thor, like from the 1960s, like the classic Thor look with the blue pants, the black shirt, the yellow boots, the red cape, the red wristbands, and the helmet. Like that Thor, classic Thor. Classic Thor is my favorite Thor. But if it wasn't classic Thor, I would definitely say I like the Thor from. I like the black and silver Thor. I'm trying to think what that look is. Um, I think it was the look that Thor had in the when he fought Iron Man. When he fought Iron Man after he found out Iron Man made the clone of him during Civil War. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Yeah, that's the look. The that's my two favorite looks: classic Thor and Thor post Civil War when he had the black shirt with the silver arms, the silver pants, the silver boot with the black boots, and he still had the helmet and the cape. Like that's probably like my second favorite version. I mean, there are some versions of Thor that should have a beard and some that shouldn't. I'm cool either way. I think I like Thor to have a beard when he's like a whole lot older, like when he's kind of like in that King of Asgard kind of role. I think that's when the beard kind of works best. I'm kind of surprised we never got clean shaven Thor in like the MCU, or that he never wore the helmet for as long as you know you kind of think he would have. Like I would definitely say that's a surprise. Well, then again, Torn. I really hate MCU Thor. Uh, I was not a fan of Love and Thunder, and I tried to convince myself that I was, but deep down inside, I really wasn't. I will say, I'm not the type of guy that wants to criticize Marvel all the time, but they wasted Gore the God Butcher. They did. There's no getting around that. They wasted Gore the God Butcher. And Torn, well, the real question is who is Torn supposed to be? Like, I don't think we know who her mom is. Like, is her mom Jane Foster? Because if so, I would love to see like a Thor family. I don't know why we've never gotten a Thor family. Like, you could have Thor, Odinson, you have Jane Foster, you have Torn, or Torun Foster, and have them be a family and have, people from like the Thor like world show up from time to time. Like the granddaughter of Odin, the daughter of Thor, daughter of Jane Foster Door, the niece of Loki. Like I'd love to do something like that with like Thor's daughter hanging out with Loki or something like that, or like alligator Loki. Wait, Thor has a son? Well, it definitely wouldn't be Valkyrie nowadays, since Valkyrie's like, I think she's either bi or a lesbian. And he has two sons, apparently. I had no idea about that, but I probably might include. No, I can't do that now. But I mean, it's definitely a possibility. What do you think about the Marvel movie? If you're talking about the Marvels with Captain Marvel, I did not care. I didn't even watch it. I did not care about that shit. Um, I do have something in the works for this week. I have 3 videos coming out, and I'm going to be calling it "How I Would Fix the Multiverse Saga." Like, I'm basically gonna go through Marvel's like 5 years from 2020 to 2025, and I'm going to fix and restructure the multiverse saga. Like, just to kind of give you an idea of what I would have done with what they've made. Like, I'm not going to change it entirely, but I am working on that, how I would fix the multiverse saga. Aren't the wolves Loki's kids? Or like the serpent? No, no, I don't think that. No, like when I say I'm going to fix it, I'm not just going to switch everything up to be convenient. But I do think that there is a way that they could have used Kang for the multiverse saga and not make him the main villain of the multiverse saga. Like, like, all right, I won't spoil it. I feel like I would be spoiling it now. But here's what I think the issue is. The problem isn't Kang. The problem is that they shouldn't have made Kang the next Thanos. Kang should have been like the new saga's version of Loki. Like, Kang should have been what Loki was. Because Loki, I think a lot of people forget, when the first Avengers movie was being built up to, it was Loki who was in the background making all the moves, you know? It was Loki who was scheming on Asgard. It was Loki who was scheming with the Infinity Stones. It was Loki who was doing stuff behind the scenes with Doctor Selvig. It was Loki who was doing stuff in the background with Shield and everything like that. And I think it should have been something with Kang, where Kang, I think in the first few phases of the multiverse saga, should have been in the background, and you built to the first Avengers movie with the new Avengers, interacting with Kang. And after they beat Kang, that's when you really get into the multiverse saga. Kind of like how after the Avengers beat Loki, that's what sets up the return, the coming of Thanos. So I wouldn't have done that, but I think Kang should have been used as a stepping stone to get to the bigger threats of the multiverse saga. Loki got pregnant. I think I remember when that happened. Isn't that when Loki turned himself into a woman? Who got Loki Yeah, you know what? I don't need the answer to that. Never mind. Some things I don't need the answer to. I don't know what Loki be up to sometimes. Loki be doing the most. A horse? What? So you're saying Loki turned himself into a woman and gave birth to a horse? What in the actual fuck? Why? Like what? Why? I can only ask why. Why was that a thing? You know what? Stuff like that is why I tell people you don't want comic accuracy all the time. Because I don't know how you bring that into the MCU and look at someone with a straight face. Hold up. Loki turned into a horse and got pregnant. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. He turned himself into a horse and got pregnant by another horse. What is this? This sounds like something Kenjaku would do. This sounds like Kenjaku before Kenjaku. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel because I feel like nah. Because the way that Marvel claims mythology, I feel like I gotta associate that with like the real Loki. Now I don't even look at Loki the same way. You guys ruined how I see Loki. I hope you're all proud of yourselves. But no, tomorrow and Friday, I am going to be doing videos on how I would fix the multiverse saga. And you know what? Because I'm being nice, I'm even gonna, I am even gonna take on the task of helping Sony fix their multiverse problem. Because I'm just that cynic. I'm just that maniacal. But yeah, I'm gonna fix the Sony verse movies. I'm gonna fix Madam Web. I'm gonna fix Venom. I'm gonna fix Craven. If you want, I can even tell you how to make a Sinister Six movie that makes sense. Why? Because I have that big of an ego. I guess. I don't know. But I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Turning him into a female horse to distract the giant's horse. No! Oh, God. So hold on. Now I gotta ask the dark question aloud. Did Loki consent to this? Did Loki consent to being used by the giant's horse? Or was this non consensual? I find myself disturbingly curious. You're telling me Loki got raped. Loki got raped as a horse. You know what? I'm done. I'm done for the day. And you know what? We're gonna. You can't see me right now, but I am shaking my head in shame and disgust. Because that was not on the docket at all. But anywho, I think we're gonna bring this live stream today to a close. This is actually gonna be the last live stream I do for the week. Like I said, for the rest of the week, I have some videos planned out. Then on Monday, we're going to go back into the anime DC comics, and we're going to be doing. We're actually going to be starting with What If Joseph Joestar was Doctor Fate. So, if you're a fan of Earth 2, if you're a fan of the Justice Society, and if you're a JoJo's fan, next Monday, we're going right back into it with What If Joseph Joestar was Dr. Fate. But I've had fun these last couple of days just to chill and do live streams, just talk about what was on my mind, just shoot the breeze. I don't know if this is something I'm going to do often, but I do want to try to do more whenever I can, if you guys would like me to. So, if you guys like the live streams, let me know. Maybe we can plan some out. I'll probably do it sporadically from time to time just to check in, see how you all are doing, how you're all feeling. But I'm happy for the people that were able to pull through. We were able to talk for about an hour or so. And yeah, that's about it. You guys have scarred me for life, so thank you so much. Um, I learned a lot more than I feel like I wanted to, and now you have cursed me with knowledge. But anyway, I'm going to be bringing the live stream to a close. That's going to do it for the end of today's stream. Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.